Hello, I'm Ron Wright. I'm the manager of the Hillsborough softball team. Yay! What a great turnout. Isn't that appropriate, a great turnout for such a great guy? How could that work out any better than that? I talked to Linda a couple months ago and told her that the softball team would like to honor Ken. He's such a valuable member of the team, valuable person in the community. We just love him to death. Ken and I had a special bond, I think. In fact, we had two. One was drinking beer. We both loved beer. I loved it more. The other was talking sports, and whenever he started drinking beer and talking sports, the truth came out. Okay? Ken was so unassuming and such a gentleman, it was unbelievable. I wanted to say to Doug and Dave and Tim, you guys had an impact on his life because even to this day, he still talks to me, or not today, but until recently, he talked to me about all the fun times he had on the lakes. You know, he just loved water skiing. He loved you guys, and you did. You had a super impact. He was as the more I talked to him, and the more he started talking about water skiing, you could just see it in his eyes. He just loved it. He loved that whole time when he was on the lakes. He loved being with his family, his friends, and like he said, they'd go water skiing when it was so freezing, and I was thinking, he's crazy. But you could tell just by the looking at it how much he respected and loved that sport. Then he moved down here to Florida. He got more involved in the senior games, and here was a guy who won a gold medal down here in shot put. He evidently won 5 others in New York or somewhere. Anyway, he won 6 in a total, and all he ever wanted to talk about, he didn't want to talk about him. He wanted to talk about all the people that were participating in that sport. He said, you know, Ron, he said there was people there that had been to 2 Olympics, the real one, you know, and he said they were still such incredible athletes, and he just couldn't say enough about them. But he would never bring up the fact that he had 6 gold medals. Then he got involved in pickleball, and that was another sport he loved. And I'm not too sure that he didn't love that as much as he did water skiing. He played for hours, and all he wanted to talk about then was the people that he played with. Even though Ken started out as a kind of a rookie, he worked his way up through the rankings really quick. And instead of talking about his achievements, he looked at the people that he was playing against and his partners and saying, God, these guys are great. You know, they have such great reaction time. They can hit the ball. They can make it fast or slow or whatever they want to do. He was so unassuming, never talked about himself. Then he got involved in golf, and like all of us, whenever you get and start playing golf, you struggle a little bit, and Ken certainly went through some struggles. But he kept at it. He kept trying hard, and in a relative short time, he had 2 holes in 1. That's pretty incredible, it really is. You know, I know a lot of people in this room that's played a lot of years, me included, and never even come close to a hole-in-one. You think he would ever talk about it? No, he would always talk about, look how far he can hit the ball, or look how well he can putt. It's not about him, it was always about somebody else. Then we started the softball team, and I tried to get Ken on the team, and he wasn't really too excited about it at first, I think. But I think he went ahead and signed up just because he was thinking of the community. He knew that we needed 12 players, and he was going to be one of those 12 players, and he did it for the team. He really did. But I think after he started playing, he started feeling much better about the softball, and he became much, much better too. He was so fast that I used him as a pinch runner a lot because he was by far the fastest person on the team. I know he was the fastest outfielder we had. There was one game that we were ahead on. It was getting late in the innings, and the bases were loaded, and Mark, our pitcher, throws a 12-inch or 12-foot arc to this one batter, and the batter hits it directly at Ken, line drive. And Ken's running back. He's going back and back and back, and holds up his glove and cocked the ball. He comes running in. His face is just bright. His eyes are big. His smile is huge. And he says, "God, I didn't think I could get to that ball." He says, "I ran back and it just went in my glove." I said, "No, that's because you tried hard and a great job." And we won the game because of that too. Ken struggled a little bit at batting. He was finding it, difficult to hit a little round ball with a round bat, and it does take some time to do. And before long, it was evident Ken was becoming a really good player. He would hit a ball to the outfielders, and if the outfielders booted it, it was a home run. That got so quick; it was unbelievable. If you hit one over their heads, he was already around in third before they ever got a touch on it. It's like a rabbit. As a teammate, Ken was always positive with either a win or a loss. He never got down on one another. He always was helping hand to his teammates. He was a champion, a friend, and a teammate, a true competitor, and always showed class and sportsmanship. As it became apparent that Ken had trouble running, we thought it was just a pulled muscle. And we thought just with a little rest, everything was going to be fine. My wife and I went on our trip last year in the RV, and when we left, we thought pulled muscle and nothing about it. And then we started hearing the stories and came back to the unthinkable. It was just incredible. The team wanted to honor Ken somehow, and we thought of a lot of different things. We thought, the pins, the black ribbon and all that, and that just wasn't appropriate for Ken. So what we decided to do, here's Ken's jersey. What we decided to do was nobody would ever wear 17 again, not for Hillsborough. We're retiring this number, and it'll never be worn again. What we wanted to do was go ahead and frame it and give it to Ken, or to Linda and the family, but they had a better idea. They're going to incorporate this jersey into a quilt with other shirts. And I thought, boy, there's no better way to memorialize Ken than that. That's super. That's a great idea. Also, since we didn't do that, what we did do was we got a picture of Ken holding his jersey, and the whole team signed it, and it's with love and respect that we're giving this to you guys. I believe everyone in this room that's been involved with Ken in the summer skiing, or participating in the senior games, or spending time with Ken on the pickleball courts, or playing golf, or playing softball. You have your own special memories of Ken. Remember those memories. Don't ever forget those memories. Those memories are so special because that's the way Ken was, so special. Okay, we'd like to have Bill Allard come up now, another friend of Ken's.
I'm Bill Allard. I'm one of Ken's and Linda's many friends here in the Villages. Abraham Lincoln once said, In the end, it's not the years in your life that count. It's the life in your years. I believe this quote sums up the way Ken lived his life. He lived it to the fullest every day. You've already heard a lot about that. We all have our own special memories of Ken. He filled many roles in his 61 years. And for many of us here today, he was a wonderful friend and neighbor. Ken had many gifts. We all know he had a brilliant mind. He loved to research everything. If you needed a new lawnmower, golf cart tires, or batteries, he'd research it and he'd tell you how to get it and where to get it. The neighborhood mantra was, just ask Ken. Ken had a servant's heart. He truly enjoyed helping others. Problem with your lawn sprinklers? Ken was just a phone call away. But to me, Ken's most amazing gift was how he made everyone around him feel special or important, especially if you're around other people. He'd introduce you to somebody new, and the next thing you knew, he'd be bragging about your prowess in a sport, or how successful you were in your career, or whatever. That was Ken. He made you feel proud, just plain good. But he was humble despite his own many accomplishments. You really had to prod Ken to get him to talk about himself. When he did, he was quick to talk about how important family was to him. He talked about how he and Linda had met, how proud he was of his younger brother Dave, and he loved to brag about daughter Jen and son Matt. Ken and Linda were a big part in instilling a real sense of community in our neighborhood. They organized neighborhood cruises, golf groups, game groups, you name it. They either organized it or were actively involved. At our quarterly socials, or really any event, they made it a point to sit with new neighbors, not just the same people all the time. They were always warm and welcoming. When Ken was diagnosed, the whole neighborhood was in shock. He was the healthiest, most energetic, vibrant guy we knew, and we felt his pain and suffering in our hearts. Sandy and I, and I'm sure many of you, spent many a sleepless night feeling helpless and wishing there was something, anything we could do. Excuse me. In spite of his condition, Ken did not let it change him. He stayed upbeat and positive. His sense of humor stayed intact, and he was still quick with his one-liners. Ken was always more interested in what was going on with friends and neighbors rather than focusing on himself. Our Friday night dinner and game nights with Ken and Linda never stopped. When I first visited Ken in hospice, Ken was sitting up in his bed and bragging about how great the food and the service was, and how he'd actually been able to get a good night's sleep for the first time in months. He also told me in a true Ken matter-of-fact way that the end was coming. This is going to be a hard part for me. I tried to comfort Ken. I wanted him to know that he didn't need to worry about Linda, that we would all be there for her. Happy Dave once told me at a neighborhood party that I was stoic. But I certainly wasn't stoic, as I was trying to let him know that we would be there for Linda. My eyes watered, and I could barely get it out. Next thing I know, Ken is holding my hand, and Linda's getting up out of her chair and putting a hand on my shoulder. How ironic. I'm trying to comfort them, and they're the ones comforting me. That's Ken and Linda. On our last visit to see Ken at hospice, he said something to me that I will cherish the rest of my life. I wish we'd have known each other in our 20s. We've only known each other for 7 years. That really got to me. Wow, I said me too. There are many days where I still find it hard to accept that Ken isn't still around the corner or speeding by on his golf cart. But I know in my heart I will see him again. People say that all the time. But I know it to be true. For the past couple years, Ken, Jim Mahalik, and I had numerous conversations about God and faith. Imagine a Jew, a Catholic, and a Methodist sitting These conversations were initiated by Ken and his scientific mind. I won't go into the details. I believe that God puts eternity in all our hearts, and we are given free will to choose to believe or not believe. For years, Ken's scientific mind made it difficult for him to believe in anything purely on faith. But after reading several books, making notes as only Ken could do, and doing further research, Ken came to the conclusion that science doesn't more prove that there had to be a creator than to disprove it. And it's because of this I know that I will one day again see my friend Ken in heaven. And I take comfort in that. But until that day, I will continue to miss my friend. I too wish we would have known each other in our 20s. Thank you.
Again, got to change the battery.